Well, happy Saturday, folks. The real Captain Kirk here. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here on the 11th of July. Again, overlooking downtown Bethlehem at Lehigh University here. Only going up to about 83 degrees today. Again, we'll take it. Got another mini heat wave coming here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Might get to the mid-90s. Not as bad as the last one. Certainly nowhere lasting as long as the last one. So, and then actually cooler trends as we get toward next weekend. So, again, thought we'd ask Sunny, our robot here again today. Tell me about summer to date. We're almost at the midpoint of meteorological summer and severe weather summary here so far. So this chart here again is national temperature trend since late May, June, 1 June, all the way out through 31 August. So this is forecast. This is history. Amazing how we go to that end of June was the coldest in 22 years nationally, and then obviously the record heat wave 4th of July, and then cooled off a bit, and then now we got another bump again, mostly toward the North Central plains. Again, the East Coast will get the Northeast will get a few days here where, again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday up in the mid-90s. But then by the weekend in the Northeast, it'll be back below normal. So, again, kind of a choppy rest of the summer is kind of our theme here of a cooler, maybe late July, and then a cooler mid-August. Rainfall nationally has been only 1% drier than last year, 14th wettest in 41 years on a national index basis. Maybe some drier pattern here for the next couple, 2-3 weeks in July, and then we do think the strong El Nino is going to kick in here in August. Will start to get wet here, but national temperatures are 0.5 summer to date versus last year, so below, coolest in 3 years, and 13th warmest in 41 years. So not a record-shattering hot summer by any means. Again, it's had its moments. Temps versus last year, season to date, blues are colder, yellows and oranges are hotter. Temps versus average, obviously it's been above average, but again, not record-shattering. Rainfall versus last year, season to date, peaches are drier, greens are wetter, and then rainfall versus average season to date map here. So again, quick summary here of summer. Severe weather outlook, again, we issued this to our clients back in October here, kind of highlighting the theme. Again, this is for June through August, so again, only about halfway through the season here, but picked up the severe weather, the tri-state, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey areas. Again, we've had everything from wind to hail to flood to tornadoes, you name it. Again, drought's been mixed in there, but again, it's been a whole hodgepodge of stuff. Obviously, Illinois has been ground zero for tornadoes this year, the most across the country, and derecho events. So kind of capture that event. There's been spotty flooding, again, in Tennessee, Kentucky, even over back here and toward Missouri with some of these tornadoes. So again, kind of hit that flooding event, and then obviously the fires out in the west, so captured that as well. The other thing here is, again, our below average, this was the year ahead hurricane outlook of the least activity in 11 years with only 12 named storms. Colorado State University just came out this week and downgraded that to 9. So again, a below average season for sure. Always remind folks of 1993, it only takes one. That was a 7 named storm year, way, way, way below average, half of average, and you obviously had Hurricane Andrew decimate Florida. That's kind of our high-risk area. Again, kind of this theme in here, close-in systems. Not totally buying this, but again, for sure, southeast Florida. So not doing too bad here on the severe weather outlook. The things that are inhibiting the hurricane season right now in the Atlantic is just wind shear with El Niños. You get this subtropical jet stream. So we've got about 100-mile-an-hour plus winds going across the Caribbean, and again, that just will shear apart anything that tries to develop. And then this dust coming off of Sahara Africa. In fact, it's going to go all the way into the central U.S., pretty high concentrations, even up toward Chicago. That's crazy. So again, the 9-day forecast here show this kind of suppresses activity in the Atlantic basin as well. We do think the hurricane season will pick up as we get into maybe August, September, October, the core season here. But again, going to be below average, but again, it only takes one. So we'll see some activity, obviously, just not way above average. Look at last week, world summer here any day, 11th of July here. Cooler trends in the east, heat building out there in the central plains. Overall, though, the U.S. was 0.2 warmer than last year, 4th hottest in 41 years, so pretty hot. Even though hot 90-degree days nationally were down 7%, least in 4 years, 10th most in 41 years, so above average, but again, down versus the last 4 years. And drier, 2% drier, driest in 7, about in the middle of the pack average. Real heat there in UK, number 1 hottest in 41 years, probably hottest on record. Europe, second hottest in 41 years, but ground zero bullseye is there in France. They've just been cooking with some 100 Fahrenheit plus temperatures, which is highly unusual for them. Again, this is their second big, huge event they've had here. Overall, though, again, China has been wet. Again, a little bit unusual here with, to some extent, the El Nino pattern, but I always say every El Nino is different. There's a parade of typhoons here, potentially, too, for the southeast Asia, China area. So, again, something to watch here. The second wettest in 41 years there in China. Look at the big map here again is trends versus last year. Map since it left are the trends versus average. We look at severe weather, we did actually add some activity here. So overall, we had about 27 tornadoes, 161 hail events, but a crazy 1,558 wind events. So that was huge. We are now the most wind cases. These are just straight line winds associated with thunderstorms. So not tornadoes, but just the straight line winds. But those are off the scale right now, most in 15 years. Again, kind of predicted some of that for the around the ring of fire. Again, if you get a big dome of heat in the central U.S., you got some downwind, Great Lakes Northeast threat from these derecho type wind events. Look at this week here. Again, the dog days of summer here. We call the dog days of summer because the Sirius star is the brightest star in the summer sky right now. It's a constellation Canis Major. So once again, from about 11 July through about 3 July through 11 August, we call that the dog days of summer. So that's where we are. Look at this week here, 1.8 warmer than last year, warmest in 7, second warmest in 41 years. Again, we're going to brief heat wave in the east, northeast again here, but again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe one day near mid-90s, but then plummets by the weekend. So the weekend in this week here is going to be below normal in the eastern Great Lakes. So again, kind of a short-wave heat wave, again, concentrated there in the plains. That'll crash to hot 90-degree days are up 9%, 11th most in 41 years, and dry again, 37% drier, driest in 23 years nationally. But severe weather, heavy rain, again, kind of where we don't need it there in Tennessee, Kentucky, into South Carolina, and dry there across the Corn Belt. Good news is that they went in with ample soil moisture. So again, there's definitely some heat stress here for the corn, but good news is this is not going to last all summer long. It's about a week-long event here for the Corn Belt, Iowa, Illinois, so they'll do okay. Look at the severe weather here this week. Again, it's again kind of more your typical garden variety thunderstorms. It's not really a tornado signature here, but Tennessee, South Carolina areas, South Carolina as we get into Sunday. And then day 4 is kind of odd. They show the New England area, and then rare, day 8 showing a huge blob there in the mid-Atlantic area for severe weather. That's unusual for NOAA to put a day 8 forecast. So it's something to watch late this week, again, as that cold front comes through the east, again, taking our heat wave midweek and crashing cold temperatures going into next weekend. We look at next week, again, you see those colder trends here, 19 through 25 July. So much cooler across the northern plains, northern Rockies, Great Lakes, interior Northeast. So again, that cold front is part of the catalyst for the severe weather later this weekend coming up. Overall, nationally, though, again, the heat's going to build out toward the Pacific Northwest and the South Central U.S. So we're still 0.4 warmer nationally, warmest in 4 years, 10th warmest in 41 years, so not as extreme. Hot 90-degree days are down, though, on the index basics here, down 8% versus last year, still 13th most. And rainfall, again, down. We'll see here, down 6%, driest in 10 years, 10th driest in 41 years. Again, but some rain here along the East Coast, and hopefully, again, some rain there in the plains. They'll take it to Nebraska, South Dakota after the big heat dome. Hopefully, we can squeak some of that into the heart of the Corn Belt, Illinois, Indiana as well. Again, to help the corn crops that are in the maturing phase. We aggregate these world 2-week temperature outlooks through the 25th now again. So the general theme of heat domes is going to say in the North Central U.S., Central U.S. Again, it'll be a short-lived dome there. The more persistent one there in Europe, again, kind of anchored around France, Italy areas. And then another one there anchored in central Russia. So again, big map trends versus last year temperatures, and map inset left are trends versus average. We look at rainfall here again through the 25th. Again, general theme is kind of wet in the southeast U.S. And a little bit concerning here. We're starting to see some thunderstorm area in the monsoons for the southwest U.S., California. This is a lightning event, so they can get these high-base thunderstorms that produce some rain, but again, they also produce lightning, and that can certainly create some wildfires. So we're already the most active in 10 years out west, very concerned about this core fire season here through probably late fall, October, November. So again, something to watch. A lot of fires already, and this is certainly a catalyst for more. Maps inset left are the trends versus average. Don't forget, you get this email blog in your newsletter every Saturday afternoon. Just go to Captain's weathertrends360.com/newsletter/captains-log. Subscribe, link at the top, and you'll get it in your email box. With that, folks, have a great week ahead, and we will talk to you again this time next week.